Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Laura Scott, and I'm Managing Director and Partner for our Australia and New Zealand business. And today I've got the pleasure of being joined by Alex, one of our co-founders of ADAPTOVATE. Welcome, Alex. Nice to have you with me.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks. Great to be here. Really excited about it.
Nice. So today, Alex and I are going to be having a chat about our new ADAPTOVATE Capability Uplift offering, which we have recently launched and globally we're really excited about. So let's kick into it. Alex, today I want to talk to you about three key things. So firstly, why organizations need to invest in uplifting human capability around AI, how ADAPTOVATE is focused on delivering commercial value with the AI projects that we are doing for our clients, and specifically a bit more of a deep dive into the framework that we are focusing on and the value that that can bring for projects and the benefits it can bring for our clients. So let's kick into it. Let's get started. So look, too often AI is treated as a tech upgrade, when in reality, the value is coming from the actual human capability. And we certainly need to remember that humans are at the center of everything we do. And just because AI is coming and it's here and it's come fast, we definitely need humans to be at the center of it. So why should companies invest in building AI capability, Alex, instead of just buying a technology?
Look, I think the simple answer to it is because it depends on people, and I hope that stays as well, right? So AI is here, and you can argue how big of a shift it is in our world, and whether it will redefine kind of how we live, not only how we work. I actually believe that definitely it will redefine how we work. Let's see about the living part, but that's probably a different conversation. But look, now what that means is you can't change without investing in your people, right? And investing in human capability, leadership on how do you actually lead that change and how do you make that happen. And we very often think, it's a piece of technology, I'm using ChatGPT, at home to do my travel plans, scheduling and stuff like this. At work, it is a little bit more complicated, and especially in large organizations, right? When you look at some of the research that's coming, from some of the leading companies, actually, when you look at the investment that should be made, 70% of the AI investment should actually go into people and process, not just tech. So 30% should be going only into tech. Because otherwise you're going to miss the boat. You're going to have lots of cool technology that no one uses it, and it's going to be very hard to get your return on investment.
So, Alex, you make a really good point with the 70%, and I'd like to go into that a little bit. So the conversations, Alex, that I'm having around the 70%, Alex, that you're referring to, is you're putting AI in to solve some key problems in your business. It's either you need a cost cut, and there are needs for that in this economy, or you are trying to supercharge your team to allow them to play at that top 20%. So giving them the access to be supercharged with the processes that they are working on, but then how can you get them to the skill level that you hired them for to be able to really to be productive and not necessarily just efficient? Is anything like that you're hearing from the European market?
Absolutely. I mean, it's everyone, everyone's kind of challenge, right? It's really thinking about what are the risks and what can you do. And again, there's some interesting. I've read a report. I think it was by BCG around AI at work. And actually, what they say is that already 72% of global professionals are using Gen AI regularly at work.
Mhm.
But if you look at the frontline workers, it's only 51%, and that number has stagnated. So it hasn't grown in the last kind of 12 months at all.
Okay.
So, what you're talking about is absolutely a challenge, right? So as a company, how do you get to the top 20% of the performance, and how do you lift the whole organization? Because again, we're very good in different, large enterprises, and our clients are very good at jumping into investments in AI, isolating them, making them kind of separate because you have to, ring fence it because, we're experimenting. And that's absolutely fine. But that environment is completely different to when you need to scale, right? And very often what happens is those experiments just stay kind of completely siloed. So they're not able to kind of get the benefits of what they set out to, and the adoption stalls, and we can see it in the numbers. So that's a big risk for everyone.
So great point, and you've led me to my next question. You've already walked into it. So what are some of the key risks do you see that if companies are not leaning into this capability uplift and just going to let AI almost hit them and experiment or allow their teams to have a play and not truly invest in capability uplift? What do you see some of the risks are?
I think that the risks are huge, right? Because this change, whether if you think about what the AI change entails, it actually redefines everything that we do, right? So it not only changes how we work, it doesn't change, who we work with. In the past, any large kind of, shift, at least we still had kind of humans that we were working with. Now that's changing, right, as well. And on top of it, I truly believe it will also change kind of what we do and what we're working on, because there will be new products, services, etc., that will come from this transformation. So it's almost like a perfect storm, right? So the risks are actually, you can think about it. But I think at this moment in time, and where we are kind of in the maturity curve, I think the biggest risk that companies face is that you're pouring loads of money into AI, and predominantly into technology, because that's what's most mature, and this is something that's tangible, you can do, touch, and kind of implement. But you're not getting the ROI, right? You're not getting the return on the investment. And very often the reason is that we can do successful pilots, but then as we scale it up, we kind of don't think about how do we focus on a comprehensive change that needs to happen, which a big part of it, as we talked about, is actually the people and the capability uplift. We can't hire, there's not enough AI developers and AI engineers in the world that, everyone will hire the capability and buy the capability. Yes, there will be companies that do that, but you also need to invest very heavily in the capability uplift, and showing people what good looks like. Yeah, and I think that's also for me very key in the approach, because this is new territory. There's a lot of people that don't know. They're scared as well for their jobs, which rightly so. But if you take the right approach and you show them, what good looks like, they can surprise you.
I agree. I agree. I actually had a conversation today that with a CIO, and we're looking to roll out AI into their company.
Yeah.
And I was talking about let's co-design it with the team. So we're actually going to do a pilot, an 8-week pilot,
Yeah.
co-designing and getting the team, getting down rough and ready with the team, making sure that we're actually going in and watching the work that they are doing so that we can then apply it to real life cases. Because email and building PowerPoints is all great, but that is not transformative. That
Yeah.
is a time saving, but that is not going to take your business to the next level. So
Yeah, no,
couldn't
absolutely.
agree more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Alex, can you talk us through, please, the ADAPTOVATE AI framework?
Oh, wow. We're a consulting company, right? So
We
we
are
need to have a
indeed.
framework. So as true consultants, no, look, absolutely. Thanks, Laura. I'm happy to do it. Look, we now our framework. Look, the idea behind our framework is really to come from a practical perspective, right? And again, we talked about, we truly believe that in order for this transformation, AI transformation to succeed, you need to heavily focus on people, not only technology. Technology is absolutely important, but people and process is paramount. So with everything that we do, we try to make it as practical as possible, right? So we talk about, rather than a framework, we talk a little bit about the 7 enablers for successful adoption of AI at large enterprises. And what's important in that framework is that this is not a framework that you need to pick up and go, and you need to do everything around this, right? That doesn't work, right? You're gonna drown. What we, based on the conversations we've had with our clients, what we focused on is, how can this framework actually help you build the plan to effectively implement this, AI transformation that's coming. You know, the rate of failure, I think, we always talked about the 30, what was it, the 30% club, I think. So only 30% of transformations succeed. I think at the moment that number most likely looks more like a 5% club, right? So, and you need to be very smart about it. So so again, that framework is meant to answer kind of that question and help you, guide you through thinking on how do you approach the implementation of AI kind of across the enterprise, and it's meant to be as practical as possible.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the critical
Yeah.
pillars to do with that the framework is made up of.
Yeah, so look, on the top level, what we talk about is you really want to answer, three questions really when you think about that AI, successful AI transformation. Number one is figuring out on what to focus on, because one of the key things as well that we see companies struggle is that they apply AI to everything. So, we get those, the chatbots are a perfect example, right? I've seen so many chatbots released by large organizations with with where it says, "Oh, just go out and play with it," right? It can do everything, and guess what? The adoption of it is almost non-existent because people don't know what to use it for and don't know what it can do, etc. And what that means is that they're not going to use it. So really thinking about what to focus on is absolutely instrumental in it. And this is all about, how do you create really an alignment on, why are we doing it? How do you intertwine this into your strategy, but strategy linked to execution? So how can you actually successfully execute that? And then also what is important is how do you very quickly test what you've decided to do and whether it works. And we actually have this rule at Adaptovate that with the AI pilots, with the AI tests and the iterative kind of delivery of that, the ROI needs to show somewhere between 6 to 12 weeks, right? And yes, that is very aggressive, but I think if you're not doing it at that speed, you're gonna get outpaced by others. So that's number one. So what to focus on. The second part is how to actually work. So we talked about, I mentioned that it's all about changing how we work, and that's a big shift as well that organizations need to make. It is you need to have empowered leaders that can make decisions around AI, and they know how to test and learn constantly to figure out new ways of using this tech. If you look at the investment into AI is so massive at the moment that the tech is changing almost on a weekly, not even monthly, right, but fortnightly and weekly basis, and can do more things. And without that mindset change of your leaders to test and learn and really be empowered to make decisions on what is it that we go after is super important.
Yep.
And then the second part around this is more kind of institutionalizing that, which is around roles and responsibilities and capabilities and teaming structures, right? So we all now, the agentic AI is the word in the AI world. So how do you embed those agents within the teams, and how do they work together? What are the roles that you need to create to make that successful? And then the last question is actually, a little bit how to scale, right? And so, you've set your strategy, you know what to focus on, you've done experiments, you've changed a little bit how you work as well, and you have the right leaders, you have the new roles, etc., etc. So then it becomes the question, how do you actually scale? And yes, this is absolutely about scalable and flexible tech, data, and AI models. So without that, you can't do it, period, right? And you need expertise, you need people that know it, you need people that can keep with the pace of change of those platforms as well, which is a challenge in itself. Then you need to also look at building the capabilities across the organization, and this is what we're talking. So this is underpins kind of all of the other aspects, and this is you need to do it at scale, and again at a very fast pace. So thinking about what tools you have to do it, how do you can't afford anymore to have people take out 2 hours a day to do some LMS module learning about cybersecurity. That's you can't afford that. You need to have the training that's kind of customized to your deliver through digital channels, customized to your people, almost almost custom for every and each employee, depending on their skill set, depending on their capability level, and delivered in a way that they can learn anywhere and anytime, right? So, and the content needs to be engaging enough so they actually do want to do it. And then the last thing is really about that strong change management, which we all know, it's bringing everyone on the journey, right? And without that, again, yes, I'm expecting large organization will lose quite a lot of people in that journey, but that's the other thing that's super important, that the ones that you want to keep, you want to bring on the journey. Yeah.
Yeah, agree. So that leads me into the exciting new capability uplift, new vertical
Yeah.
you are heading up globally,
Yeah.
which really addresses everything that we have discussed today. So can you give us a bit of an overview first, I think, of capability uplift vertical, what it is, maybe even why we've chosen to do it. I mean, what we've spoken about today already, there are many, many reasons as to the why, but maybe it's more around why Adaptovate. I mean, I know between us, it complements everything that we do, but I'd love you to go into that a bit more for our listeners.
Yeah, so I need to now put my marketing hat on and do a little bit of marketing for Adaptovate. No, all good. Look, why Adaptovate? Look, yes, we are a consulting company. We're not a training company, by the way. So that's not necessarily the case, but we specialize in strategy to execution and really focusing on changing people's behaviors to support transformation, right? And I have not seen in my career, and it's been maybe not the longest of careers, but I've been around for a while. I have not seen such a massive shift that AI is bringing that requires such a massive mindset and behavioral shift from all of us. Okay, and I actually think that why we decided to go into the capability uplift, because we are in a way uniquely positioned, because our secret sauce is really working closely with people and showing them what good looks like, and then being able to scale it up at the whole enterprise, right? And I believe that this is exactly what companies need that. And we've done, we are working very hard on making this a holistic approach where we can take our clients, and we are taking our clients from the experimentation, so from the focus on, what is it that you want to experiment in, what are the test and learn, what is the ROI, where do we focus to prove the ROI, then what are the components you need to do it, all the way through, which involves pretty much our consultants / coaches working very closely with people, right, on this, and showing them what good looks like. Through to, don't get me wrong, you still need classroom training, right? So you still need that basic knowledge, etc., to set the baseline for people. We are at Adaptovate. All of our consultants within the next 4 months will be AI certified by Microsoft. That's a statement. We've already have quite a few of them. Each office has quite a few of them, but all of them, will be certified by end of the year. So they bring practical knowledge, and they bring actual knowledge around those topics. And can deliver the training. And then the last thing is we've also partnered with a couple of companies to create that exciting content and have a vehicle to deliver it. And this is Sweda and Agile Avengers, to deliver the content in a very engaging way that actually shifts the paradigm of people dragging corporate learning to well, I need to sit through 2 hours of training, and by the way, now I can get ChatGPT to do the exam at the end for me, which is great, so I don't need to do that, right? I actually want to learn. I actually want to open my phone and watch the training that my company is delivering on the massive change. That's, by the way, is building my own skill set, and it's improving my brand in the marketplace as well. I want to learn this on the way to work, right? While I'm sitting on the train, I want to do it. Which is, and I think that combination of all three elements really, and again, with the focus on very quick ROI realization, I think that's a proposition that's very interesting to our clients, and a lot of them are very positively responding to it. And there's some cool stuff that the teams are working on.
There certainly is. It's created another sense of community, I think, as well, where sometimes AI is teams are playing solo, or people,
Absolutely.
employees are playing solo with it, whereas this has certainly created a sense of community that you can take online. And it's a beautiful looking tool. I've worked in software quite a lot of my life, and this is one of the best I've seen. So it's great. So Alex, look, that was a delight talking to you. Thank you. It was lovely to see you. And we will certainly continue to hear more about capability uplift. Look forward to it and excited for it from a global perspective. And I'd just like to thank everybody for being with us again today. And you can listen to us on any of your channels where you listen to your podcasts. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again.